Good morning, friends. So it's 7 a.m. in the morning, and I went outside. It's supposed to be like 81 degrees, and the humidity is supposed to be pretty low. So it's a perfect day to work on the garage. This garage is pretty old. The house was built in 1936, and I think the garage, my husband said, the garage is like 10 or 15 years younger. So it was built like 10 or 15 years after the main part of the house. But it's an old garage, and my husband is a stickler on rehabbing and trying to bring back the old with a little bit of the new, so that way it can be brought up to the right, date, and also still have that old world charm. The garage was in really bad shape, as you can see. There's a lot of areas that need to be fixed. You see right there, there's just a lot of bad wood. There's some areas that are going to have to be replaced, some that are going to be scabbed in. Just depends on the wood, the whole structure of that wood. Lots of, puttying and all that. But from my understanding, the house was one of the first houses built in this area. A very long time ago. I think it was like 1936, 1930. I think it was 1936. It's either 1936 or 1939, but the house was in bad shape, so we had to put a lot of work into it, especially the bone structure of it. So now, after kind of limping the garage along before we can get to it, because of course, wherever you stay, you have to fix first, and the house had to come first. So now we're onto the garage. As you can see, I'm showing a lot of places on the garage that really need a lot of work. And I plan on banging in all these nails and puttying over them. Normally I wouldn't do that, but I can't afford to replace every board there is. And you can see there's even gaps. They had cloth in between these gaps. And there I am. I'm getting ready to start patching just some areas. I'm not getting on the ladder. The ladder was, I was on the 12-foot ladder, extended, and my nerve pinched. I have a pinched nerve in my back that sometimes, if I stop doing something quick enough, it can get unpinched pretty quickly. But so today I'm just going to work pretty much on ground level. I might go up a little higher. And you can see I'm just kind of patching, with wood putty right now. The wood putty and the scraper and the caulking costed us $98 just to start. The reason I'm doing this is because my husband works long hours, and I'm a stay-at-home wife that, so I take care of the yard, the house, the dogs, my husband, and anything else in between, plus do the remodel. I've done this for years, and I was using the like a little trowel to put the putty in, but I've always found that using my hands, and fingers to press it in and smooth it always seems to be the best. Plus, it's kind of cold. The putty is kind of cold, so it's just not easy to work with. My hand will warm up that putty and allow it to get into the little nooks and crevices that actually need to be got. Now I know that, going back to the history of the house, I know that, we have a little tack building where they, stored the tack. And, of course, this garage. I'm thinking that the tack building was before this garage. But you could definitely see that they didn't care for it. So what I'm trying to do is rehab it. My husband is a stickler about it, like I said earlier. He likes to bring it up to the 21st century, but at the same time, keep its old world charm. And I would rather just tear it down and put up a new one, or tear it down and put up a carport. I mean, that's just me. I don't want to mess with it. This is going to be a lot of work, and I'm very OCD, so my husband will have to come out and look at things and literally tell me that I'm done, and then I can start painting. We are going to paint the garage itself barn red with white trim. The trim's going to be replaced because most of it was just dry rotted, and they really didn't do a very good job protecting it. And you could tell it was replaced before, but either they didn't get pressure treated, or they definitely didn't caulk it good to help keep the moisture out. You can see my dogs, they're right there. They always got to be close where Mama is, which is, great. And I'm allowed to, I can actually have them outside while I'm out there, and I have to keep a close eye on them because they're inside the fence. So for the last week, I have been scraping this garage nonstop, and I usually put about 4 to 6 hours a day. I usually go out about 7 and come in between 11 and 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because I still have things that I have, even though I leave the house, clean, I still have to come in. I still have to store food as my vegetables ripen. I still have to dehydrate. I still have to clean my house. If there's something that needs to be done inside the house. Usually, like I said, when I walk out, I make sure my house is clean, so that when I come in, I'm not having to worry about that as well. Wednesday, it's supposed to rain, so normally today, I was going to take the day off from the garage because I worked on it all weekend, as well as last week, and my back was really starting to hurt. But Wednesday, I'm only allowing myself one day, so it's going to have to be Wednesday because we have an 80% chance of rain. We got some of the better wood putty, and you can see, I'm using my fingers and just smoothing it out, getting it in there. Now, I do know there's areas that I'm going to have to put more wood putty in, and then of course sand everything before I can even think of painting. The reason we took the trim off, it was for 2 reasons. One, if the trim was savable, it doesn't matter, so we were just going to replace it anyways. But 2, I wanted to see what was under the trim. That way, if it needed to be repaired, I can repair it. Painting will be so much easier, and I just don't have to worry about it. The trim that I'm going to replace it with, it's going to be, of course, pressure treated, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just get that white. It's between $6 and $8 a sheet. So, or a board. No, the other stuff, I think pressure treated was like $5. So I'll just pay for the extra because it's going to be white, and when I go to paint it white, it won't bleed through. So, and if it did, you wouldn't notice it because the board's already white. The trim is going to be white. The painting, it's not going to take so long, but the front and the back is in pretty bad shape. The one side needs 2 boards up from the ground replaced, or 2 rows replaced, and then the other side is actually in great shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this part done, and in the front, minus the garage. Now I will paint the garage red with white trim, but just know that we are replacing the garage doors. I want the carriage doors, but we'll see what happens. We're just gonna kind of limp the garage doors along for a little while because it looks like it's going to be between $2,000 and $4,000 each door, and I really, that's not in the budget right at the moment. So as long as you fix it, it's good for another year or two, and then we'll put new doors on when we go to sell the house, and probably carriage style doors. Normally I wake up around it's about 3:30 in the morning, so I was able to get a lot of stuff done inside of the house, and I've been out here for a while, and it just seems like it's a never-ending job. My husband told me, he says, if you want to do the garage, go for it. Well, my dummy butt decided to say, okay, I'll hit it. And the next day I started scraping. And I've also found that nobody can do it as good as you. What you're expecting, you're wanting it, completely scraped. But the people that do help you, they scrape it and think, okay, we're done. So I've had to go behind them as well and finish scraping. I want as much of the paint off as humanly possible without ripping the boards apart. That way when I paint it, it's like a fresh coat of paint on new boards, metaphorically speaking. I just want, like I said, I just want as much paint off these boards as possible. When they painted it before, I don't think they scraped it because the old paint was just bubbling really bad, and which was pushing the new paint, and then they just like half-assed it. There's no other word to say, just half-assed. And to me, you do something right the first time, so that way you don't have to revisit it anytime soon. So my 53-year-old body and I, mentally and physically, are out there messing with this garage by myself. Right now, we do have a tenant who comes out and helps, and he's been actually a great help. He helps me out quite a bit around the house when he's home. He works midnights, my husband works during the day, and so he'll help me until about 10 to 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and then he'll lay down. So I'm not doing it completely by myself, but I am doing a lot of it by myself. I have the knowledge, and he has the bronze. So he does not like heights. He has been trying to conquer it, but I'm the one that's going to have to go up to the peak and do what needs to be done up there. There's areas underneath the overhang that needs to be scraped, and I don't know what kind of paint they used, but it's like rock. I mean, it's bubbling and cracking, but to get it off, I'm going to have to use a grinder, I think, and grind that paint off. That's the only way I can think to do it. My husband yesterday helped, but again, he just doesn't know what he's doing. He's not a painter. He's never done it. Everything he's learned so far has been from me. But he did work at one of my videos. You see in my garage, and it was in bad shape. It was dirty. It was messy. There's stuff everywhere, and I've been telling him, look, get rid of 90% of the stuff. I'm done. I'm completely done with having a bunch of stuff. And so yesterday he went through the garage and cleaned it really good, and now we can park, I can't even talk, park both cars in the garage, and which is nice. Hold on a minute, Peanut wants me. My little peanut butters. Yes. So I don't get to spend a lot of time with my dogs, and that's a little upsetting, but the garage is clean, so that's taken care of. Park both cars in and close the garage doors. Everything's clean. It's put in a specific spot, so we're pretty happy about that. And you can see right here, I'm just kind of going over where other people have scraped, and it's just not to my OCD-ness, as my husband would call it. My back is hurting. I'm tired. I'm just not sleeping well, so I feel like I'm in a haze, but I'm on, autopilot. And my husband told me to take a break today, but I can't do it because Wednesday it's supposed to rain, and I just don't have that luxury to just not do something. And a lot of people talk about housewives staying home, but and doing nothing, but this housewife does something. I do the yard work, I remodel, I fix things, I do housework, I take care of the dogs, I do everything that has to do with the home, everything. My husband, now if it's, like plumbing or electrical, I won't touch, and I refuse to learn it, because if I learn it, then that means I got to do it. But my husband does that. He does all the heavy lifting, and he even builds things. But for the most part, it's me. And so being a housewife isn't you clock in at 9 o'clock and you clock out at 5. I clock in at 3:30 in the morning, and I don't go to bed until 11 o'clock at night. And I'm always doing stuff. So being a housewife isn't easy. But I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I'm able to take care of my husband. He doesn't have to do any housework. He doesn't have to cook. He doesn't even have to do this stuff right here that I'm doing. The scraping, he doesn't have to do any of that. I do it. And it just really makes things nice. So come along with me on this journey, and let's rehab together this garage and make it beautiful again, because it needs to be. We need to beautify it and make it strong again. And then this winter, I'm going to be putting insulation in and drywalling the front. And you can see I keep looking back because the dogs are barking, and all that. But if you like the video, I'm just one person trying to video this for you guys, as you guys can watch it as it's happening. And, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And leave a comment. Now, I know I'm not perfect, and maybe you professional painters out there are going, oh my God, what is she doing? Look, I'm not a professional. Never claimed I was a professional. Therefore, I'm just doing what I can. So the rest of the video is going to be quiet. You can just kind of watch it. And like I said, subscribe. You can get more videos. Hopefully I can get this camera right a little bit better. But my big butt is right in front of it. And I thought I had it off to the side enough. But again, when you're trying to video it yourself and then you go back and look at it, you can't repeat what you're doing. And so that's it. So let's rehab this old girl again and make her look pretty. Bye, friends.